Shanna Fuld is in Tel Aviv right now. She's a journalist and the host of the Israel Daily News podcast. Shanna, thank you so much for joining us, and we're so glad you're safe. But if you can, just walk us through the last several days. What have they been like for you there?
First of all, thanks for having me on. It's great to be with the Spectrum Network. These last few days have been completely unsettling, and specifically today, there's just been sounds of rockets overhead all day since I woke up. And it's interesting because the Iron Dome is able to detect, this is a defense system, it's able to detect where the missiles are coming. So if the missile is not coming to your area, it doesn't trigger the siren. But that doesn't mean that I'm not hearing them. And all day we've been hearing rockets exploding over air, and many of them have touched down. I'll bring you back to the beginning. Saturday morning at 6:30 a.m., the sirens blared across Tel Aviv. Everybody was violently woken up and meant to go into a bomb shelter. I go into the stairwell for protection. It's supposed to be the safest part of the building. And I actually, blissfully unaware, went to synagogue that day. I slept through the alarm on Saturday morning and went to the synagogue. It was Shabbat, and it was also a holiday called Simchat Torah, where we read the Torah again from Genesis. And I found out there that we were under a major attack, and it didn't become clear to me how serious this attack was until later on people started to give me the information. By evening on Saturday night, we had rounds of sirens going off. I would say for a couple of hours, I was in and out of the stairwell. And the scariest part was I heard a rocket. It sounded like it was just outside of my window. And I heard it explode, and I knew from the sound that it had touched down. And I actually went to go see it the next day. You could see an ice cream chunk literally taken out of the top of a building there. Yesterday was a bit more quiet, but just creepy and eerie because I think we all are bracing for more. And we got that today. So there have been sirens going off all over the country. There is an invasion from the north. The South was invaded heavily with 260 party goers being slaughtered by Hamas, who infiltrated the southern border. 800 plus people are dead. Some 2,500 or more people are injured. And I have some personal connections to what's going on, and I'm very unsettled.
It's just such a terrifying thought to think about what's going on, and like you say, just feet from where you are and hearing these rockets overhead. Another terrifying thought is that this is the largest mass killing of Jews since the Holocaust, while also being devastating for civilians living in Gaza. What has been the human impact of these operations? What's been the international response from your perspective?
So the international response is something that has actually been disturbing me greatly. A lot of headlines are trying to say things like Israel, Palestine. And it's not Israel, Palestine. First of all, the Gazans in Gaza, the local Palestinian population in Gaza, are never going to be allowed to tell you what they're really going through under the heinous rule of Hamas. Hamas is a terror organization, and it is officially a terror organization as declared by the United States, which is why I don't understand why so many news outlets across the US are referring to Hamas as militants, almost as if to bolster their standing or make it seem like this is army to army. This is a terror group that came in and murdered women and children, babies. We're very afraid of rape. There were images of women with their pants soiled with blood. So we're not dealing with anything that's in line with international law or the rules of warfare. We're dealing with a terror organization. And so to see, for example, today someone shared with me a protest that was called Gays for Palestine. Gays are beheaded in Palestine. Gays are beheaded in Gaza. Literally, they are hanged in the public sphere. So the fact that there are so many Hamas sympathizers and Palestinians need to find their way out of being under the thumb of Hamas. So myself and so many Jewish people and Israelis around the world are just disturbed by a heavy support for Palestine right now when we really need to separate these issues.
Okay, that's our journalist Shanna Fuld in Tel Aviv for us. Shanna, thank you so much for joining us, and please stay safe.
Thank you so much.